Well, good morning, everybody. Yes, I'm sure you're surprised to see me up and around at this time of day. What is it? Almost 10 to 9 in the morning here in sunny Las Vegas. Although sunny is not like the optimal word, but I don't know. What are we at? 49, 50 degrees right now. For us, it's a little bit chilly, but sorry about starting late, but I swear, and I've said this before, I think Scotch Down Under's Gremlins and St. Bernards have attacked. The intro you saw was not what was supposed to play, but what it wanted to play. But that's just how it goes sometimes. So now that tells me I've got to look at something and see why it queued that up. Have have no idea. No idea. Wasn't supposed to happen, but it's what it chose. So more than likely, it was probably operator error. But that's why I'm doing some of these early morning streams like this before my actual stream later on this afternoon, evening, depending upon where you are. And like I said, I do not know lately what has been plaguing my system here, but something just is not where it should be. But that's just how it goes sometimes with this. That is, but glad to see here Sugar Kitty, Prescription Bourbon, Bourbon Syndicate. Good morning. I know it's still morning where you are, but I do appreciate you all being here. Yes, I've got my coffee in my heated mug. And when I say heated, I think I've talked about it before. It's one from a company called Ember. I can control whatever I want from my uh, phone, make it hot or hotter, warm it up more, lower the temperature. But I like hot coffee. So I figure while I'm sitting here with you all for the next few, it's probably better to keep it nice and hot. Well, I hope everything is working well and you all are hearing me because by the chats I can see, yep, it looks like it's doing well. Uh, on this one in particular, I didn't put any restraints on chat or anything like that. I'm trying to make sure that it has nothing to do with the restraints or anything that I put on normally whenever I do a stream or chat like this. And like I said, this is just a little coffee talk today, just to see how everyone's doing. I've been getting ready for the holidays. And yes, I am too. Haven't decided exactly what I'm going to do in here. But for me to do stuff within here is a chore. Is a chore. Actually, I've been moving stuff. And I always talk about the stuff I've got on the floor whiskey and so on and so forth. And believe it or not, and I've said this a dozen times before, I'm getting better at getting this stuff up off the floor. And it is what it will be. So I hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving and got to spend some time with your family and friends like I did. I actually, last Sunday, pretty much I did get home in time if I wanted to stream, but I was tired. I had probably driven over 300 miles that day. And once I got home, had a little dinner. I was like, nah. I said I was going to take the day off. Decided, yep, I'm going to do it. So that's what I did. Lurked around, watched a few things, and caught up on other people's streams, just reaching out, saying hi, and letting people know that I'm still around. And I am. I'm not as active as I was on other people's streams. It's just life, it's this thing called work. And most people know I'm up at 0300 in the morning during the week. So it's, as I get older, it's rougher getting up at that time when you don't put your head on the pillow until 10, 11 p.m. But anyway, I still do it. I'm fine throughout the day, but I don't like it. Oh, look at this. Here we are. Hello, Greg. Always great to see you here. Good timing for you in France. Well, you know what? That's perfect. I've got some, um, got my coffee in the mug. I literally just brewed it. And a little over a month ago, I got a new coffee maker and pretty happy with it. My father has one, and I'll mention the name. It's one of the Ninja brands. Always had the Keurig, didn't really have a problem with it. It's just that my last one that I bought to replace the first one I ever got just didn't last. And so my wife found this and she got it because my dad has one. Great. First few cups in it, pots, it does either or the K cups or a pot. I mostly will make the pot because for me, I like fresh coffee brewed. Everyone says, oh, the K cups are good. And they are to a point. But, when you get some good beans and you have them ground or you have the roast you want, or you're just not getting that in a K cup. But anyway, so I got this new coffee maker and it's not working right. That's all I can say. So I contacted them and they're going to send me another one out. But holy smokes, I'm still waiting for it. And Christmas is coming. So I sure hope it does get here soon because I made the first solo cup in it today. Because normally I just brew a pot. When I say a pot, it's at least half. And for me, that's 3 cups because I don't use a little 6 ounce or 8 ounce little rinky dink cup. I want a cup. I want a mug of coffee. I don't want this little teacup. If I was having tea, okay, but I'm not. I'm drinking coffee. So anyway, so I picked 10 ounces because that's generally the size of my cups and, this one here. So I grabbed it and did it and walked away and came back and the damn thing was overflowing. And I'm like, what the hell is going on here? I mean, this thing was just to the brim down the side. So cleaned it up. But that is one of the problems. It either brews too much, doesn't overflow in the carafe, or doesn't brew enough. In other words, if I pick 25, 30 ounces, usually it's 28. So there's no 30, but 28 ounces in the morning. So it gives me 3 cups. Sometimes it will only brew 20 ounces. It's like, what in the heck? So anyway, that's why they're going to send me another one. You don't mess with my coffee in the morning. That's like sacrilege. Sacrilege, messing with my coffee in the morning. But anyway, I think I told you a couple of weeks ago, last time I did one of these, is I was trying to work through some of my little St. Bernard issues um, in this computer and just with the streaming and stuff like that. And I found a roaster out in California. Uh, a friend of mine gave me a bag of his coffee back in October, and I brewed it up. I said, "Oh man, this is good." So I placed an order, and I got a couple of bags, and he sent it. And I don't know if I held it up or said anything, but the company is called Java Jake's Roastery out in California. Java Jake's Roastery, and I tell you what, this thing is a pretty darn good blend. I like it. This one here, if I can read it, is the dark Costa Rican blend. It's a dark roast with notes of vanilla, cinnamon, um, and a little bittersweet chocolate. I think this is the exact one that I talked about, but I don't know if I showed the bag or had it because the bag I had wasn't as big as this one here. But I also took this to my father's, and when I was down there visiting, and not this one, I took another blend. It was an Indian blend and not as in Native America, as in India, the country. Okay. That was actually really good too. And I wouldn't call it a dark roast, but I don't have the bag here, but I think that's what they refer to it as. But I'd say medium to full, maybe if you're lucky. But anyway, Uh, that was good. Everyone liked it. I mean, went through that bag in a couple of days, but of course, I was making probably 2 pots a day because there's quite a few of us there enjoying a nice hot cup of coffee over the holiday. It was really good. Um, and So, if you guys are interested or anything like that, look them up on the internet, Java Jake's Roastery out of California, and give them a try. No, they're not supporters of this channel in any way, shape, or form. Don't know me from a hole in the ground. I just want to say that. I just happen to like the coffee. But, and speaking of pickups, you re- you recently retired from your Johnny Walker Blender's Patch Experience Espresso Roast 2017. Hmm. Never heard of it, Greg. Not at all. But sounds interesting. Okay. Yeah, I never heard of it, but I'm sure they have experimented into a few things. Um, one of the things that I was lucky to find, which I didn't find it, my wife found it, and she finds a lot of good things for me in this whiskey world, but picked up a Redbreast 12-year-old for 33.95. Yes, you heard me right. 33.95. I tried to get more, but they would only give me one because they incorrectly priced it. Hey, one is better than none. I also tried to see if they would honor the $15.99 price because they mismarked the old Granddad 114. She said to my wife, wasn't me, but the lady told her, you can have one or the other, you pick it, but she wouldn't do both. So as far as I was concerned, that was the better choice um, there. And it just so happens everybody knows what it is, but here it is. And I'll just add it to my other little thing. And it's part of the floor whiskey collection. Like I said, I got to get this stuff up off the floor. It's just killing me. Just killing me. Yes. Yeah. Um, oops. Sorry about that. I thought I turned that down, but it is morning here. So let me shut that up. Yeah, it was a good deal. Like I said, my wife found that. So hey, good, good, good. Hey, yeah, happy birthday, snowman. Yes. Well, it's not snowing here, and if it does, we have a problem. That's for sure. We have a problem if it starts snowing here in Las Vegas. I don't even want to think about it. That's for sure. But anyway, so is everyone getting ready for the holidays? Did you do your Black Friday shopping? I didn't go anywhere on that day other than from the couch to the coffee pot or to the patio. That was it. I'm really honestly trying to think, did I go anywhere Friday? No. No actual shopping like a retail store for clothes or gadgets or anything like that. Yeah, no, nothing, nothing, nothing. Never even give it a thought. That is for sure. However, I know my wife did, but I did not go out on that day. There was just it's not something I like, nor do I care about. Yes. I'm sorry, Greg. I didn't even think about that. I got the little inference there on the happy birthday, but he does say that on the program, and I'm noticing now that it's getting some play. I've noticed it on different stations here, but I like to watch certain holiday shows, and like It's a Wonderful Life. Um, one of them. Always like to watch The Grinch, uh, Charles Dickens stories, and of course, on Christmas Day, the Christmas Story. Gotta watch it. Gotta watch it. Yeah, Greg, I was seeing some of your stuff on Instagram about some of the things that you were tasting and were a part of, and I thought that's pretty interesting, and I'm sure for you exciting getting to be able to try some of these spirits and the whiskeys that you have been fortunate enough to try over there, and they absolutely sound delicious. And I'm sure once some of those really get a chance to open up, that flavors just have to pop. Yes, yes, a child at heart. I think all of us have that to a degree at this time of year. Really, I think all of us do. Oh boy, you know, he's a he. I didn't mind him in those movies at all from Home Alone, but after a while, it got kind of hokey to me. But that's what it is intended for, to give you a laugh and so on and so forth. But uh, it's not one of them that I watch on a regular basis, if at all, during the holiday. Oh, I haven't looked, Greg, at either one of those platforms this morning. Just kind of got up running around and updating this computer and a few things that needed to be done. And like I said, just trying to de-gremlin everything. And I just honestly just don't know what has been going on here with this. uh, is it through StreamYard? Is it because of YouTube? Is it because of, let's just say Windows operating system? I don't know. But as far as I know right now, I don't have any updates for anything needed. Hmm. Understood. Understood. But I will make sure I take a look at that. That's for sure. I most certainly will. So I noticed that the other whiskey tubers lately have been starting their Advent calendar, as far as they'll have different spirits that they try between now and Christmas. And I, at one point, had just a fleeting thought that, I might want to do that. But for me, knowing that I have to do this every day, let's just say until Christmas, every day, even if it's just a 5-minute stream and putting it up, that's like work. And that's not why I do this. I'm not into it for the work. I'm into it to sit here, have a coffee, or pour a dram in the evenings and just sit back here and have a chat. Yeah. I like the idea. I think it's great. I was watching Kilco do his. I saw his first one. Um, I got to watch his second one, and then I know he'll have another one out today. But you know, tip my hat to those people that do it. It's not. Excuse me. It's not anything I want to do. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Exactly. I am aware, and that's what I figured you were talking about, Greg. Yeah. Well, I I hope so. Let him rest in peace. Well, you know what? It is quite scary anymore. And let me just say this, and I'm trying not to get onto my political stance, but depending upon where you live, and since I know that we have three different countries represented here this morning between Canada, France, and of course here in the United States, there are certain people in all of our governments that just have to go. And the people need to wake up at one and vote them out. They're worthless pieces of shit. Done with that rant. But like here in this particular administration is who I will stick with for right now is the Biden administration's policy on controlling our borders is bullshit. Okay. What other country can you come in here illegally and not expect to get consequences? And I'm not going to keep going into this, but it's true. You cannot go anywhere. Try to get into Turkey, try to go into Russia, try to go into China, try to go into North Korea, try to go into Pakistan, Uzbekistan, you name it. Go into Iran illegally and think you're going to just wander in, get a place to live like they do here, get money handed to them, health care, whatever they need. Come to us, It's ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. And don't think that it does not lead to troubles or problems. Because if you think like that, you're wrong. There are reasons why countries do that, and there are reasons why they do that. And for instance, I'm going to use Poland as an example. Do you think they let just anybody in? Why do you think that there are countries that absolutely refuse to have people from other states who claim even refugee status? Is because they don't want the trouble it brings. They vet them. And unfortunately, in today's society, it has to be. But I mean, it's just terrible. And we could chat about this for quite some time, but it needs to stop. These governments, particularly ours, need to open their eyes and see what's going on and listen to the vast majority of the people and not let the few whose mouths just happen to be big dictate policies, procedures, my thinking, your thinking, other people's way of life. It's ridiculous and absolutely absurd. Sorry, bit of a small little rant there, but it's easy to start on one of those. Do you consider yourself to now be a whiskey drinker of all whiskeys and enjoy everything bourbon, Scotch, peated, blended, Irish, Canadian? Well, careful on the Canadian there, but exactly. But yes, I don't discriminate. I'm an equal opportunity drinker when it comes to American single malts, Scotch, bourbon, Scotch, either peated or not, of course. Blended, yes. And I think you guys heard me talk about blended before. Uh, but yeah, I I enjoy the spirit for the craft that went into making it, and that blender that had the knowledge or the experience, the knowledge, the palate to put together these spirits that we purchase. I think it's wonderful, wonderful. Hey, John. Good morning, sir. Hope all is well down there in Tennessee. Really do. Yes, 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 yes. I agree with that. Hmm. Well, we all are very close together, Greg. We are. But unfortunately, one more political rant. You cannot have people in office for their lives, 30 years, 40 years. And I'm going to use the term corrupt, and that's my term. They become corrupt. They become corrupt to the system. They, I don't want to say in the pocket, but in the pocket of special interests. And that's what has got to stop. Got to stop. Let's see. Japan, I'm going to tell you what, they don't fool around there. They kind of pretty much take care of their own. Uh, Loosely, I've been kind of watching some stories from there. So, yeah, I think you have a point there, Greg. Without a doubt. I really do think you have a point there. Well, you know what, John? I try not to, and I try to be, well, I'm sure as hell not politically correct, but I try to keep it civil, but plain. And I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, Independent, liberal, Tree Party. I honestly don't care. The biggest thing I care about is that you do vote and that you do express your voice through your right to vote. That is you. And what I don't like is when I do hear people that will criticize something and I'll just openly ask, "Hey, did you vote?" "No, I don't vote." Well, then shut up. I'm sorry. Then just shut up. If you voted and the platform, the person, or whatever you voted for didn't win, well, that's okay because that's just how it goes. But you at least expressed your opinion. So, that being said, you need to vote. You need to get out there and vote. Well, let me just say this. Trudeau has got to go. I haven't heard anybody, and particularly the Canadian Parliament. There are people that really not for him. And is it Alberta that recently just basically told him they're enacting, was it the Sovereign Act or something like that? Basically to tell him, you take your energy policy and stick it somewhere where the sun don't shine. We will govern our province as we see fit to keep out the bad ideas of the federal government. Well, I applaud them. I think that's them. And if I'm wrong, let me know. Let me know. Um, but it's absolutely ridiculous. Hey, Mr. Jiggs, good morning. Uh, Hope you are doing well today. Glad to see you can make it. Shredward, good morning. Cheers, man. Let me grab my little coffee cup here and say good morning. Give you all a little toast. Just a little morning coffee talk here. Nothing big, just doing our thing. Um, anyway, is that what it was? Okay, it is the Sovereignty Act. Okay, I knew it was. Like I said, I caught it, and that was a couple days ago that this all started to take place. And that's the thing. We all have to try to have our say. But when you have this small minority becoming a thorn in the foot, all right? When I say that is that undermine common sense, and I'm picking and choosing my words, that undermine common sense, true facts, life in general, the way we know it. And what I mean by that is it goes back to the term, and I'll say it, there's just some people out there that have these really far-fetched ideas, and it's fine to have them. It's fine to speak your mind. But what I've seen is when people try to have intelligent conversations with a particular group and debate the issues between the left side and the right side, and I don't mean that politically, but you have one person on one side of the room, the other person on the other side of the room, and we have some dialogue. They get upset if you don't agree with them and you're, let's just say you're wrong. Well, wait a minute. You're telling me you have the right to do this or say this. So why don't I? And just because my opinion disagrees with you, why does that make me bad? It shouldn't. It doesn't. But that's the way some of these groups are thinking, or some of the way these political people are thinking, that, well, just because you don't think this way, you are a bad person. Please go jump in a lake. Go jump in a lake. Sorry. trying to be nice. Okay. Uh, yeah, exactly. Mr. Rance. Well, it's still morning for me, 9:20. So finishing up some coffee here and just having a morning chant, chat, and rant is what I, wanted to say. But, when you're just having a cup of coffee and discussing life, whiskey, politics, eh, it's good. It is all good. That's just what this is about. We're just talking. But anyway, so that's pretty much it for everything here in a nutshell. Um, it's always nice to have people come on and we just sit here and spend a little bit of time together and drink our coffee. But of course, I know in some parts of the world it's easily 5 o'clock. So you poured yourself a dram, and that's absolutely fine and acceptable. Oh, yes. Redbreast 12. So this was the pick my wife found for me for $33.95 because they mismarked it. This was the one. And hey, I've already got one open, so now I've got a backup for that and at the right price. That's for sure. But also, while I'm here, you guys heard me talk about the Tale of Tokyo not too long ago. And let me say this. This is opening up nicely. This is opening up nicely. It was good on the neck pour with about 10, 15 minutes of just giving it a chance to open up in the glass. But now that it's got some time on it, about 10, 15 days, well, it's probably a little bit more than that, but neither here nor there. This is doing wonderful. This is doing wonderful. Oh, looky here. Speaking of Texas, what's up, sir? Good morning. Cheers. Hope you are well. Always good to see you here, sir. There we go. The syndicate's just saying hello to the newcomers that just had popped in there. Always good to have other people say hello, just to let people know we're all here. Yes. Yep, 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 yep. And I was kind of skeptical on the Mezzanara because sometimes it does well with whiskey. Sometimes to me it's a little on the off-putting side. I don't quite like the winey taste, and that's what it comes off to for me. But no, not on this one. I mean, I do get it, but it works extremely well with this. Extremely well with this. You know what, Greg? It's funny you should mention that. Guess what's on the floor? Tail of the Forest, and this is an empty bottle, so I've got the backup. But let me tell you what, I enjoyed this, particularly for their first peated expression. I mean, yes, this bottle's empty. I took care of that 2 weeks ago, give or take, but I thought it was good. I thought that was good. I liked it, and you know what's funny? I really couldn't get peat off of it, as in smoke, not necessarily peat, as in Laphroaig Ardbeg or Highland Park type of a peat. I didn't really get that at first, but as that bottle opened up and I got down to the got down to the bottom of the bottle, and I poured that last dram. Wow, it popped on my nose and on the finish of the palate more than it had that entire bottle out of that end. So maybe it's just that opening up rather than the ethanol pretty much was gone out of it. Don't know, have no idea, but I really did enjoy Tail of the Forest. Really did. And I think I may have to get a backup for this backup that I have because sooner or later it's going to go. And I'm just surprised, really, Greg, that it's still on the shelves here. I don't know why that didn't really take off like Tail of Cake. Tail of Winter, that's still languishing on the shelves around here. It's just okay. It wasn't anything fantastic, and the people just didn't want to waste their money on that. That's for sure. That's for sure. Wouldn't mind getting the Tokyo or at least the four. Either one is great, but let me just say this, Ben. If you can get Tail of the Forest, I would tell you to buy that because that's the first expression in writing, to my knowledge, and Greg, correct me. That's the only one that they have done, and I think that's exactly what they said, that has any type of smokiness to the barley. So, hey, exactly right. But this is the guy who pushed me. And when I say pushed me, he showed it when we were on a stream together and said it was really good. And I said, oh, I got to find it. Well, a few days later, lo and behold, my wife and I were out and I found it. So I am glad I picked it up. I think it's a decent pour. Definitely worth adding to your collection, without a doubt, for the experience. I really do enjoy that particular one. Cognac producer, the Arlette Mezzanara finish, but it's one of the rare times I thought it worked very well. And that's exactly what I said. I'm not against it, but sometimes to me that Mezzanara finish just doesn't it just doesn't do it for me on whiskeys. But I thought this was okay in the Tail of Tokyo. I really did. Um, I have that, and I think it's good. I think it's good. So if you're gonna think about getting it, yeah, because I know your palate as far as when it comes to peat, you're not afraid of it. It is really barbecuey and chewy. Aha. So in essence, it's probably maybe the second one or so that they've ever done really that I am aware of. I only have how do I say this? I heard about it, but nobody with your knowledge and experience, Greg. So now that I know that there was another one prior to this, that's good to know. Ah, okay. Got it. Yeah. And that's what that to me, the Teleforce, that's a good way to put it. It's very discreet on that, on the palate. And at first, because I was expecting more of the nice smoky sweetness, but not at the levels of a true peated Scotch. Let's just put it that way. I thought it was underwhelming, but as I got into the bottle, as it opened up, I really came to enjoy the spirit. Then when it got to the bottom there, the smokiness really just seemed to pop on that. Hey, Doug. Cheers, man. Good morning. And that is a very peculiar, and that's what I tell people. It's unique in aspect to just what you were saying about that particular scotch. It really is. It was really different, really different, and that's one of the things I think I liked about it as time went on because it really grew on me, and it was wonderful. So last night I threw some steaks on the grill, little mushrooms, whatever, and I poured myself a nice dram of Port Charlotte 10 because that's one of my favorites when it comes to just sipping on a wanting a scotch to have with a nice steak. There we go. Yeah, and I got that, but that was a great uh, analogy for me for the Tale of Forest. I figured that's what you were referring to, but I kind of jumped a little bit and went back to the Tale of Forest. It was very discreet, to me, the level of peat on there, and that's why I went off on another little bit and elaborated. But uh, I enjoy the expression, and like I always say, if you like it, you like it. That's fine with me. Ah, yes, 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 yes. It is a there's a lot. Um, there's a lot of peat down there, but you're right. There are some areas, just like we have protected lands here in the States and up in Canada, and I'm sure over where you are, where, they want it to remain pristine, just as it was hundreds, thousand years ago. No one's touched it. Fine. That it's all good. But yes, yeah. And what I don't like about it is the cork has seemed to shrink a bit. And even though I manage to rock mine from time to time to make sure I keep that good seal, it's loose. It will move up and down. inside the bottle, but you have to really pull it to get it out because it's like the end is swollen up. But anyway, that's the only thing I don't like about it. And I'm trying to remember, was it my Bruichladdich? Uh, was it a classic Lottie? One of them, boy, the cork was just horrible after a while in there. Just horrible. I think it should be, particularly for the money. Donald, I don't know what you're paying for it up there, but right here, $70 US is about the price on a Port Charlotte. I don't know what it is where you are right now. November 17th, 22, batch 22 of 283. Huh. Now, I'm going to have to look for that because I'm due to replace the one I have, Greg. But who knows if we're going to get any of that particular batch here. That might all been shipped over to your side of the world. I think I did see that. Did you just post it within the last week or so, Ben? Hmm. Morning, John. Always great to see you here. Oh, wow. 75 to 80 euros. Wow. Hmm. Well, if Greg's heard about it, then it's got some buzz to it. But yeah, um, Port Charlotte to me is one of the must-haves on uh, somebody's bar, shelf, cabinet, whatever, whatever. You should, my opinion, if you're a repeated person, have a Port Charlotte. I mean, I haven't found anyone personally that doesn't think it's a good peated whiskey. You will have some that just don't agree or they do not like that particular profile, but which is again, it's okay. It's okay. It's whatever you like or don't like. It's up to you. Hmm. Hmm. Oops. Sorry if that disappeared. Let me. There we go. But anyway, let me grab my coffee off my little plate up here. I'm just making sure it stays warm. It doesn't need to stay on the plate because the warmer and battery is in the cup, but I just set it up there because when you set it up there, it doesn't use the battery power. But I just wish that thing didn't over pour because it wasn't to my liking as far as strength wise because it poured too much coffee. It weakened it a bit, but you know what? It was still tasty. Still tasty. Hmm. So let me see. I picked up Lord, 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 where is it? Where is it? Oh, never mind. I know where it's at. It's in the other room. I was going to grab something. So let me ask you this, Greg. Have you ever had anything finished in a Tokai cask? I was fortunate enough. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but oops, there we go. So this one is out a few months back. Right place, right time. One of my favorite little tobacco shops. Sorry, bottle shops. Was doing a tasting, and they had about 5 of these bottles that they were going to do a barrel pick from. And here we go. I just realized that there was writing on the inside of this. But anyway, I got to partake in that particular pick. This is the one I liked. Wasn't the one that they ended up picking, but it was in the running. So they gave me this because of my time I spent going through 5 bottles like this to give my opinion, which was, it's terrible when someone wants to give you whiskey and ask you your opinion on which one should be their next pick. Yeah, it's terrible, but it happens. Oh, Gert, how are you, sir? Nice to see you. Are you still on holiday, or did you get back home? The distillery is out of California. Darn it. I'm sorry, Greg. It escapes me because I didn't hear of it before. But they're a small producer of things, but it's just an unusual finish. You don't see it a lot, and I have had it before, but I thought it was lackluster. Uh, yeah, I've never heard of the distillery until till then, um, Greg. Whenever I had the samples, so but I had something that was finished in the Takai barrels, but I was like, well, it didn't thrill me, but it wasn't bad. This, because I think the proof was a lot higher. This is 61.4 ABV, 61.4 on this. And I think the other one was, I think, below 100. I'm going to say 95 proof, so 45 ABV ish, plus or minus, up or down, maybe 1 or 2 points. But anyway, it was just okay. But when the proof bumped up on this, I was like, oh, and this is a malt whiskey. I forgot to say that. This is a malt whiskey. This isn't a American bourbon. And I'm like, wow. So, like I said, this one to me was fine. It had flavor. And what it reminded me of, if any of you ever had the Michter's Toasted barrel, it had that note to it, but it was not a toasted barrel, but it had that rich brown sugar with you could get just a little of that barrel char on it, which was amazing. Really was. It was really, really good to me when I tried it. So that's why I picked that particular one. But, you know, Anyhow, it's I just can't remember the name of that distillery, and I don't have. I'm trying to think. No, I don't have. I had it written down because I just saw my notes on it a while ago, but I know I got rid of it. I'm like, oh yeah, and I looked at it, but I just could not. I can't recall. I know it's out of California somewhere, but L.A. No. Well, it's one of those things that sometimes when you stop thinking about it, something will bring it back. Something will bring it back. Yeah, I understand that. Sometimes it they can be. Well, they're hard to get here, and it's just because of the people that jump on it. You know what I'm saying? That when it comes out, and then the prices, though, are ridiculous on some of it, almost $200 a bottle of US, depending on which it is. So I have I have again floor whiskey. I have the Michter's Straight Rye 10-year right here again on the floor because I was talking about this, and so I instead of having to keep running behind me, turning around, grabbing something or rooting for it on the shelf, it's easier for me to be able to reach down here and go, this is what I'm talking about. Boom. And show it. Hence floor whiskey. So anyway, oh, Mr. Morgan. Well, hello, hello, hello. Always great to see you. I know I haven't seen you in a bit, but I do appreciate you stopping by just to say hey, to let us all know you're here. I hope you're getting ready for Father Christmas to come down your chimney and bring you some gifts. And let me say this. If you can get a pour of it somewhere, go ahead and buy it and try it. It may not be quite up your alley. And I've said this before to other people. You know, you hear a lot of people talk about something and how good it is. Well, it doesn't always mean you're going to like it. So before you spend $50, $100, or whatever on a whiskey, if you can go somewhere and let's just say it does cost you $10 or $20 for a porridge, and it could be more, but depending upon the value and what type of whiskey or who makes it, that it is. Sometimes it's just worth just dropping it down to see if you liked it, to go ahead and make the purchase. Like when I tried Macallan, I tried the 12, but I don't remember which one of the 12 it was. It's been a while, but you know what? It was good, but it didn't make me want to run over and buy a bottle for about $70 for a 12-year-old when floor whiskey, let me grab it. Right here, this Loch Lomond 12 with a nice hint of peat for $24.99, so $25. I don't know why I said that, but I think that's what it was. I've got this is just about gone, and I've got two more on the shelf because you can see what's left. And the only reason why I'm holding off is because I've got to pick them up off of ASMR whiskey, and I don't want to not have it. But for the money, this is fabulous with a nice hint of peat. Very nice hint of peat on it. Very nice. I enjoy that for the money. Well, look at this here. Good afternoon, sir. Yes, 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 yes. We just had a little well, I raised my coffee cup, but other people, depending upon where you are, raised a dram. But yes, 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 yes. Sorry to hear that. We all are. Talking about bourbon. And you know what? That's the interesting thing about certain particular whiskeys. They all cause us or bring up memories of different things we have tasted throughout our lives. And it's amazing how some can give you orange notes. And you're like, where would this orange note come from in a bourbon or banana? Very unusual flavors. But everybody is different. And it is what memory that note conjures up in your head is what it will come through as. And sometimes you need to sit with that same pour with somebody that's had it and have this type of a discussion to go, there's notes in there I just can't get, and tell them what you get, and then listen to them to explain what they get. And sometimes between that discourse, you then will come up with, yes, that's what that is. Or, okay, but then it seems more like it's this to me. So again, taste is highly subjective, but I like to have this type of conversation with people, particularly if I have the same dram in front of me. And what makes it even better is if you have the same dram, but the same batch. So you are comparing apples to apples. So when you have the dialogue, you're drinking the same juice, because I can have one, it's the juice, but the batch is different. So you will or could get different flavors off of that. And you know what? Macallan's, I don't have anything against Macallan's, but just what you said, Greg, there's some stuff that's being produced, and there you go, that, wow, for the money, they're a remarkable pour. A remarkable pour. Yes. Yeah, like I said, it's a shame. I mean, it's a loss, that's for sure. It most certainly is. And I'm happy to honor his memory here. Hey, Z-Man, morning. Well, at least you have some fond memories uh, of him, and be a good thing to repost that if you could, Greg, as a tribute, or bring up the link to say, hey, when we had some conversation, here's, the interview. And I think it'd be great to do. Excuse me. Darn sinuses are draining a little bit today. But anyway, let's see what we got here. Some people get like cherry notes, like it's a cherry pie, just cherry sweetness. Um, yeah, I'm going to give you some molasses notes. Kind of a dark note is how they talk about, but I think that that comes from the char of the barrel. But again, don't know. I'm not a connoisseur of makers. I've got a few of them down there on a shelf, and not because I said down there that they're on the floor. They just happen to be on the bottom shelf, and not because I consider bottom shelf whiskey. That's just where they happen to land on there. But yes, yes. Uh, you should be able to. Okay, okay. This is the link when Greg was able to have a chat with Alan. So if anybody is interested and want to see that, this is the link. Thank you, sir, for putting that up. And if anybody wants to go back and see that, you can look at it right there. And like I said, I'm glad that we mentioned him here, and others have thought fondly of him and his family, especially at this time. All right. Well, I'm not going to keep everybody. I didn't plan on going for over an hour, but we can probably certainly keep going most of the day here for me. But it's almost 10 a.m. on Sunday morning here in Las Vegas. So I'm going to sign off here in a moment and get my morning going, finish up some chores. I still have a thumbnail to produce for uh, this evening's stream, to which again, I'm getting more people asking me to come on earlier. And it's my East Coast peeps, my central United States peeps who are like me. You know, they got to go to work in the morning, and the East Coasters cannot be up at midnight. They can, but it's just late for them. So they're asking me to go on earlier. But I know Four Leaf Whiskey will be on, and Sunday is normally Kilco's stream. So if I go on at 4, I kind of compete with him. So I'm conscientious of different ones that are on. But as we all say, you want to stream whenever it is you want to stream, you just go ahead and stream. So, but anyway, oh, hold on. I see what David popped up here. You know, I just actually picked up some of that, David, this past summer, June, because it's not available here, and I happened to be on the East Coast and the beginning of June, and I found a bottle and brought it up there. I'm going to have to revisit that since you mentioned that, because it's an unusual one that you just don't hear of unless you've had it. I'm going to have to revisit that. It's actually right at my grasp. You quite can't see it, but it literally is that bottle that's kind of right there in a box. So it will definitely be worth it now that you said. But anyway, I hope you all have a great day. Look for my thumbnail later on and find out if I will be streaming at 7 p.m. East Coast time, or will it be my normal time at 9 p.m. Pacific? Anyway, I hope you all stay well, enjoy your day, and I will be seeing you all real soon. Cheers, everybody.